we thought that we'd come in here and really talk about the truth about influence. I feel like influence is one of those things that everyone talks about. It's like, oh, you have influencers and you want to build influence, and it's such a hallmark hallmark word. But really, it's a powerful word, and it's one that I think is taken too lightly, and is people don't really understand where it comes from, why you need it, and how to get it, you know? And when it comes to building a business as an expert, as someone who is helping people transform their lives or transform anything within their lives, it is the cornerstone of your career. It's so much more than getting a follow or a like.
Yeah.
And it's definitely it has a very interesting relationship with ego.
Mm,
So,
that's deep.
you know, Anna, thank you. Because it's one of the things, actually, this is actually a great segue. When I was first getting started as a coach and putting my truth out there, one of the hardest things for me was dumbing my shit down.
Yeah.
Because, and not everyone is deep or has to be deep, but it is something that I've always had. Like, I'm a deep thinker. I am a little bit of a hermit, or a lot of bit of a hermit. And that's just how I'm built. And it's something I resented for a really long time about myself, because, as a marketer, I know, and this is one of the things that we talk a lot about inside of the membership and the club, is messaging needs to be simple.
Yeah.
Right. It needs to be simple in order to be effective. But just because it's simple doesn't mean that you need to extract all the juiciness from it. So it becomes an art. But
Yes.
one of the things that I really resented for a long time about myself is that I am deep, and when I learned a couple of the things that, not, and when I say learned, is I'm not talking about like I learned this from someone else. When I really tested things and have failed and have won and have had many experiences, I've really come to a deep, deep understanding of putting your truth out there, and how important that is, and to be yourself and to be authentic no matter what. So, now I'm like, yeah, that's me, that's part of who I am.
Yeah.
So anyways, I went on a tangent there, but
No, it's good because you were talking about how influence has something to do with connected to the ego. And so tell me a little bit more about what you mean by that.
yeah. So influence, true influence, is an energy. It's an energy that's coming from you. And it is literally the sum total of your thoughts and judgments about yourself and others. So your thoughts create energy. Your aura gets filled with that energy. And
Mhm.
so with the thoughts that you have about yourself and others, your ego is right there in the middle of it all. So what's interesting to me about influence is that you would think that influence has something to do with having a big ego, with faking it till you make it, with thinking of yourself so highly that you you can do that, that you can have that level of influence. And it's actually the complete opposite. I believe that people that have, I believe it's about having a healthy ego and not necessarily an unhealthy big ego. I believe it's about really understanding who you are. And when you understand who you are going to have better thoughts about yourself. Specifically, you're going to have the recurring thoughts of, I did a really great job with that, and I'm going to do better next time.
Yeah,
See how balanced that is, that thought?
totally. Actually, I want you to take it back to that example of you like resenting yourself for wanting to talk about the deep stuff.
Mhm.
So circle back to that example because I think that's going to be very, very juicy when you do, right?
Uh-huh.
So the you were thinking because you did not you were aware of who you are and as a person that you're a deep thinker.
Yeah.
And the word that you use is you resented that fact. And it makes it hard for you to market yourself when you're
Yep.
talking about the deep stuff, right? Because
Yes.
messaging has to be simple. I totally understand that. So you can feel the energy of the word resentment
Hmm.
versus when you know yourself, it's like, oh, now I can talk about the deep stuff in my VIP club and in my inner circle, you know? Um,
There's a place
yes,
for it.
yes, yes, yes.
And it's so cool, which is why I loved I always did my signature show inside of my group. Why? Because if you think about, we're gonna shift over to the marketing department here. If you think about like the inverted funnel, right? Um, a lot of the people who are at the very top are on social media. They don't know me, like me, or trust me yet. But the people that are inside my group are people who have already purchased something smaller, even, and they know me. They've interacted with my content. You know, last week or this week, we opened up the doors to enrollment. And so, you know, all of our new clients who are enrolling inside of the membership, some of them are even like telling us, I've been following you for a long time. So anyway, so that knowing that allowed me to really fill my cup in that department, put my live stream in front of people that are already somewhat of my community. And that really gave me the stage to be geekier and allow myself to express that part of myself.
Yeah.
So all aspects of you have a place to be expressed in. So, you know, I like breaking things down into archetypes, right? And s- and parts of you. And you know, this is actually super relevant for people who love, you know, work like therapists, for example, who work with parts. And you'll really get this. But all aspects of yourself deserve to be expressed, not all at the same time and not all in the same place. So, part of building your digital queendom and knowing how to do that and how to market yourself is to understand what part of yourself you should be expressing and where. Okay. And when you learn the art and science behind that and you start actually stepping into that, you're going to start learning, you're going to start feeling really balanced in the way that you show up in the world. You're going to start really engaging the right people because you have that balance and that flow. And you'll stop actually experiencing uh, shit breaking left and right. And here's why. Because once you give all aspects of yourself self-expression, you know, expression, and you know where to do it, you stop projecting. You
Mm.
stop projecting. When we are projecting, we are we are attracting to us problems, so that that problem becomes the catalyst of you paying attention to that aspect of yourself, so that one day you can be like, well, what part of me created that problem?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's awareness.
Totally. Totally. But even in our community, which I know I'm preaching to the choir here for a lot of people, but awareness is so much deeper than
Totally.
what we think. It's not just about, oh, having aha. So yeah, some ahas are, any aha is great. Any awareness is great, but taking it a step deeper. So in any case, when you give all aspects of yourself a playground, and they are, and you are being expressed, you're going to be in flow. Your energy is going to shift. Your thoughts about yourself and others start to shift. Your influence starts to grow.
Yeah. That's so good. That's so good. It might take a few times for you to listen to this or watch this before
Watch it
that.
over and over and over.
Or go through something during the day and it was like, oh, that's what they were saying. That's what they meant. Because some of these things is like, unless you've actually experienced it, it doesn't make sense
Yeah,
at
so let's give
first.
some examples, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we just gave you the example of, if you want to really express your deep thoughts and deep knowledge, stuff that's really, really like super valuable. Um, you know, you might want to do that in the middle of your funnel, meaning or in the bottom of your funnel. In the middle of the funnel, we're saying like inside of your communities, people that already have interacted with you once or twice, who kind of get you, who are
They've watched
starting
your
to
live
really, you're
streams.
dating, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good place for you to put that kind of content out. And even there, you have to be cognizant that some of them are pretty new. So a lot of what I'm sharing right now might be too deep. But inside of our goddess circle, for example, we go really deep. And
Yeah.
that's where, we will take out the thorns. That's where we really I mean, you've seen it, Anna. We go deep. Like, every single one of our students in there, as long as they're vulnerable and willing to share,
Yeah.
we're really looking to go into the root of why you're doing something. And once you have that, like, the problem disappears. Why? Because the problems are stuck energy in you. When that energy um stops being stuck, truly, your energy starts to flow again, and the problem no longer needs your attention.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, so that's one example. Another example of a possible problem that needs to get your attention. Okay. Not being able to close your sales calls,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
I've seen it happen before in my own career, where I'm like, oh my God, I've had so many like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? And you
Mhm.
go on that like streak, and then at that point, you try to blame everything and everyone for it. Oh, well, this isn't, well, wrong, it's the wrong
The
person,
economy,
the
it's the
economy.
president.
Yeah, it's an election year. No, honey, it's you.
Yeah.
And so for me, when that's happened, which it has, um, it literally takes the me being able to stop and say time out, like Neo in the Matrix. Like, time out. What's going on here? And then looking within, and really asking the deeper question: what inside of me is needs attention? What inside of me is creating this? But that takes a lot of courage. But
Hmm.
once you do it, it's magic. I mean, it's
Yeah,
really magic.
it really is. It really is.
People go
Because
to
it's not
therapy for
affecting your
stuff like
aura.
that. Huh?
Because it's not affecting your aura anymore.
Yeah, your energy's starting to flow again. You're starting to solidify.
Totally. By the way, Zola's watching. She said, good morning. Good morning, Zola. I know it's a little bit earlier for you than us, but it's
Good
extra early
morning.
for us as far as like when we go live. There's so much good stuff. So like the sales kind of brought to my attention as far as like pricing your offers, right? Because that came up on day one. And in some of the calls that we have done in onboarding our new VIPs, um, there's like, okay, I don't even know if they're gonna buy my offer.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going on there? Like, where do I find these people? I don't even know if I can sell this at this price, or if my offer is even valuable, or if they're gonna want it, you know?
I think when it comes to that, there's really a lack of you're not in touch with the value that you are providing people. And so I'll give you an example. One of our new VIP students, she's a friendship coach. And she's like, but is anyone gonna pay for this? And my answer is not if you position it that way,
Hmm.
you know, because people are not just paying or buying something so that they can make friends. It's so much deeper than that. People are lonely. Why do they need new friends? Lonely. They've been so shy their whole life.
They've
They
been rejected before, and so they don't want to like go out there and like be rejected again.
Exactly. So there's so many deeper roots to why they would want friendship. So it's about the positioning of it. How are you positioning it? And I'm really excited to help her actually.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
me too.
she's gonna kill it. She's gonna kill it once we're done with her.
Yeah, because
Um,
she has so much already. She
oh my
like,
God.
yeah,
Yes, 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 yes. So it's like I feel like it's a barometer inside of you that's like, ooh, I'm not sure that I'm going to get paid that for that. And so there's a reason you feel that way, right? Some of
yeah,
it is just, you being hard on yourself or you having those imposter feelings, but some of it is actually like, I'm not doing something right. There's something I'm missing
yeah,
here. So I don't feel connected to that price point. Because when you are fully connected to the result that your client is getting, even if you are selling an intangible offer, an intangible solution, such as confidence, that's intangible, right?
yeah.
Um, you're gonna you're gonna you're gonna really value and honor your pricing. But if you're just getting started and you've never had the experience of what your work can do, then you have to pick a price that is an easy entry point so that you can give people the 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 solution so that you can give people um I'm missing the word, Anna, results.
The
So that you can give
transformation.
people the results. I mean, when you're not giving anyone a result, then I mean, yeah, you're gonna feel like, how am I gonna charge that if I've never done that before?
Yeah, yeah. It's nice to have some validation around what you're doing. I'm a big fan of doing beta tests.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like you did that to start your business,
Mhm.
right? This specific business where like you talked about, I think was it day two where you charged like, I don't know, $100 or 150 or something like that
Yeah,
a
like
month.
something crazy, like 127 or I don't know. It's so funny. I just saw Megan, who was my very first client that I tested it on last Friday. Um, she was at our Lady Savant Foundation luncheon, and I was telling her, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, and she's doing amazing. Her stuff is like everywhere now.
That's
Um,
amazing.
yeah.
Okay, so I think it was day 2 where we talked about like society's like tradition or belief that like we have to work hard. And then there's other teachings out there to say, oh, well, you gotta just stay in the flow and like, less is more, and like, that kind of talk. Like that, I mean, we
Yeah,
both
I want to be
built,
really clear
yeah,
about things here, because I'm not doing any of you any good by telling you that it's easy to build an online business. It's not. So I just want to tell you that.
yeah,
People get into the online space because they think it's easier to work from home. So they just, they rush into it, and then they think they can DIY it by watching YouTube videos and by buying $27 offers, and by listening to people that say things like follow your heart and stay in flow and less is more. That might sound really good to your ears, to your head, and to your ego. Because let's be honest, like your ego does not want to change,
yeah.
right?
It's so comfortable here. Can we just do this?
Yeah. No, your ego doesn't want to change. Your ego wants you to stay stagnant because it's easier. And so it's a big trend in especially in like the new age community
Yeah,
to go down that path of less is more. And the problem with it is that it's things are not black and white.
yeah,
Everything is in the gray. Sometimes less is more. So sometimes that's true, but sometimes that's not. And when it comes to building a successful business online, sharing your gifts and being the expert and helping people, um, the reality is that you're going to have to set up a system, and that's
yeah.
not going to happen for you with a $27 offer.
Nope.
It's just not. And I sell $27 offers too.
Yeah.
But in a smaller offer like that, for example, people love your signature show. It's $27 or $37. Um, but it teaches you something very specific, right? A skill.
Yeah.
So a lot of the smaller offers are teaching you small skills, right?
Or specific strategies.
Or specific strategies. But if you're really looking to build your online business, it's going to take you years. If you're just buying little $27 offers here and there.
Yeah. My take on that is I think, like you said, there's room for less is more, depending on where you are in your business. If you're just starting out
Yeah.
and you don't have any systems, like you said, then you don't have a foundation to build on and even bring team members on
Yeah.
and delegate so that you can do less and they can do whatever the doing is for you, right?
Right. That's a
Um,
great example. Great
yeah,
example.
yeah,
When less does become more. Um, yeah, I love that.
yeah. Hey Vicky, we see you there. She said hello. Hi.
Hi. The
Um,
influence, the energy of influence, when you have and I'm gonna, I like calling it a digital queendom.
yeah,
What does that really mean? That means that it's the equivalent of having a castle. You're a queen, right? You are a queen, the queen of your home. Your home has a place to receive people, and it's got a front door, it's got a back door, it's got a living room, it's got, where a family room, it's got a bedroom, a bathroom. So it's like, that's what when we say you are building and need to build your digital queendom, that's what we mean. You need to set up the little things that are going to allow the ecosystem to exist for your ideal client. Now, why, how does that build influence? Well, ask yourself, how do you feel whenever you go into the house of someone who has a beautiful house, everything's laid out well, it's clean, it's neat, they, it's designed with a purpose in mind. Or even when you go to a party, right?
Mhm.
You walk in and you see the flow of things. I actually went to a great party yesterday that was like that. And immediately you're impressed.
Yes.
It holds influence over you.
Yes.
But how do you feel whenever you go into the house and there's shit everywhere and, there's no rhyme or reason to anything? This person is just moving in, or, even if this person is nice. And this is what's happening to a lot of people in the online space, Anna, is that you're not a marketer. Duh.
Yeah.
Like that's absolutely, and you shouldn't have to, but you're showing up disheveled.
Yeah.
You have no process or anywhere to actually welcome a community.
Hmm.
You haven't, you know what I mean? So the natural influence isn't there. So when people even show up to a discovery call, you know,
Yeah. That kind of brings me to another uh I guess I don't know what you would call it, but I heard it in one of our onboarding calls where she started running ads, and she's gotten 80 leads, but like no one's calling the leads. They don't know how to convert the leads into patients. And like 80 leads, like ads are not cheap.
no, that's a
So
small
like
fortune right there.
it is. So imagine not having your digital queendom set up and you turn on ads that you're spending a lot of money on. Well, one, it's great that her ads are converting. She has 80 leads,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But what happens? I mean, they're opting in, but what happens then? Like you said, in that party, right? Like that
They're
they're right there at the door.
coming in.
How do you get them in?
Yeah, it's like they're coming to your party, but there's no party. There's just a
Yeah.
bunch of people running around being busy and like no one to welcome you, no one to offer you a drink, no one to say, let me introduce you to the rest of the party.
Yeah.
Um, you know, that
Yeah.
matters. So that's a great example of that. So when we're talking about the energy of influence, like your influence is more than you showing up in a video or in a live stream. It's
Yeah.
more than that. I remember when I first launched my very first big funnel. Actually, I think it was your signature show. And people would buy something and then they would book a call with us. And it was amazing to see like how wowed they were
Yeah.
because they're like, wow, this girl, how does she set all this stuff up?
Yeah.
Right. So it
Mhm.
was like an immediate, like, oh, this is the real deal.
Yeah, it builds your credibility
It
as well.
builds your credibility.
Yeah.
But jumping from strategy to strategy, not having a digital queendom, not, you know, not showing up in your full authority and owning your crown, right? With those, like we said earlier, influence is the sum total of your thoughts about yourself and others.
Mhm.
But if you don't have anything set up around you, how are you going to manage those thoughts? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a circle. It's all a circle.
Yeah.
So,
For sure. I think you said something about the definition of influence earlier. I don't know that you mentioned it yet. It's not the one that you just said. There was something else. Do you
we
remember which one?
we need to have like a camera around us at all times, Anne.
Yes,
Because
totally.
it's like we just have like the most important, coolest conversations. What was I saying?
You were defining influence, but in a different way than you just said. Than you just said.
Hmm.
It's
Was I
okay.
saying something to the effect of oh, I know what I was saying. Do we have time?
Yeah. I mean, we're 30 minutes in, so maybe we can do another 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really about like I want you to ask yourself, it's not so much what your hands are doing. It's so much more about what your heart is worshiping,
Mm,
right? So when
yes.
you think about it, we can go back to the person who is trying a small little strategy or whatever. Or the person who is looking for to do it yourself on YouTube,
Yeah.
right? What is your heart really worshiping in that situation? And I'll put it to you in a different way. What are you valuing
Hmm.
when you're doing that? So Anna, what do you think that person is valuing?
They're valuing the money savings.
They're valuing exactly. So at the end of the day, they're valuing small investment,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what they're kind of valuing.
Hmm.
That small investment in time or no investment. I mean, to
Yes.
be more accurate, what they're truly valuing is no investment. No investment. So
Totally.
that's the value. Well, if we go back to the definition of influence, well, the definition of influence is that you are that it's the sum total of your thoughts towards yourself and judgments, right? Towards
Hmm.
yourself and others. So if you're valuing no investment, you're gonna get the equivalent of that, more of
Yeah.
that.
That's so good.
So it's not necessarily what your hands are doing. Like maybe you are um trying to create some sort of system that you're trying to figure out how to piece together. You might be doing that, but your value, what is your value underneath that? Now, we went deep into this in the Goddess Circle last
Yes.
week.
Yeah.
You were like, I think you were doing something, and then you messaged me. You're like, that was so good.
Yeah, and we need to do it again. I think like we need
Yeah.
to do another session on it because it's so powerful. It's so good. Um, because it brings your awareness to the things that you didn't know you were valuing if you didn't scrutinize it a little bit further.
Yeah.
You know,
This
it's
is
an
deep
awareness
stuff.
exercise, really.
Yeah. It's really deep. It's our values. We are getting the results in our life of the things that we value.
Yeah.
And it's very different from like, I value honesty. I value you're like outer values. There's such a thing as external values, the things that you want others to recognize you for, right?
Yes.
I'm a liberal. I'm a conservative. I believe in women's rights. I value my time. I value blah blah blah. Those are values that are external. And you're okay with people knowing what those are because they have something to do with your identity.
Yeah.
But then there are internal values, and you're not usually aware of those internal values
Hmm.
unless you are a super introspective person. And if you are, you're a successful person already.
Yes, totally. So kind of looking back to that, the opposite of that, which we just did is, while I was on vacation, I invested in a mastermind. Right? And because I know the value of somebody who has created a seven-figure business
Mhm,
and then me showing us the ropes of how to get there, because
mhm,
we've done six figures.
mhm, mhm.
To us, it's like, okay, we're good. Like we know how to get here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
then
yeah,
how do
yeah.
you get from here to there?
Right.
So a mastermind will give you that if they're really good and they happen to be really good, right? And they
Mhm.
have demonstrated like that their stuff works to us, right? Because we have created the system
Right,
along with
right, right, right,
that,
right.
right? So the value there is, well, I think for me, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, is I value my time and my
Mm-hmm.
effort.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
I know there's no shortcuts, but because you've done it before and you have the results to show, I want that.
Right, 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 right,
And you
right.
have things that you can give me and teach me to get me there faster.
Right.
Yeah. So what is
Um,
that, the value there, or is there something else?
no, I think you're right on. I think you also have a value of knowing you value your time, you value, yeah, absolutely. But there's a deeper value there as well. I feel like there's the value of,
Being teachable?
no, I think that you value following through.
Mm.
Like you are someone who knows that you're going to watch everything, that you're going to, you know what I mean?
Totally.
That's a value you know you have already,
Hmm.
that you're going to do the work.
Yeah,
That's a great value for people to have.
for
But
sure.
most people don't have that value. They
Yeah.
just want the silver bullet. Just tell me what to do. Just like even people like I've been through many, many masterminds, you know, $24,000 masterminds, even more.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to follow through with and what I'm not, you know? So
Yeah.
it's like it comes down to your self-knowledge.
Yeah.
And when you know that you are not going to, when you know that this is not something that I would normally follow through on, it's not, here's the juicy part. It's not about being like, oh, that's just not who I am. It's more about why am I not like that?
Mm.
Would it serve me to be that way instead?
Yeah.
I think you all need to hear that again. This is really, 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 really important.
Yeah.
It is not about just being who you were meant to be. It's about like, why am I not that way right now? What am I really valuing?
Ah, that's so good. So
Well,
that's a journal prompt.
I know this is a little too deep here, but
Let's
it's,
connect it to a goal, right? The goal that the deeper purpose that they said they have on day one, and we'll end it here. So
yeah.
the deeper purpose that they said on day one, and then ask the question. Can you repeat that question again?
Which question?
That last one you just said. So your deeper purpose. So you have your deeper purpose, and there's certain things, certain ways, or certain things that you have to do to achieve that deeper purpose,
Yes.
right? So the question is, why am I not that person yet? What am I
Why am I not that
valuing?
person yet? Yes. Okay. So you have your deeper purpose, and we talked deeply about this on day one. So I'm not going to go over that again, but you know, you have your deeper purpose, and hopefully you have, if you're inside, let's just say if you're inside of the VIP program, for example, you're no longer going to have confusion. You're not going to be dazed and confused because we're going to
Mhm.
give you step by step. Like this is what you need to be doing in your business in order to get here from here to there. So
Mhm.
forget about the confusion. You have this list, you have a roadmap. Now, you could be like, oh, that's so much. I don't want to do that. Well, then you have to not just say like, okay, that doesn't go along with me. I don't want to do that. Well, why don't you want to do that? Is it
Mm,
because your deeper purpose is not powerful enough? Or
yeah.
what inside needs to shift so that you feel okay doing that? Is it something inside or something outside? Like, or how can it become more manageable for you? So it's like those deeper questions
Yeah.
for somebody that doesn't want to do some, like, let's just say there are 5 videos that you need to watch and you don't really feel like watching them. Well, what are you valuing instead?
Mhm.
So most of our internal values, someone who doesn't want to watch the 5 videos, for example, they're valuing probably staying small.
Yeah.
Why? Because you won't have to fail,
Yeah.
right? But
Yep.
what do you want to value instead? So that's the thing. If you can really get to the bottom of what you're valuing, if you can have someone that can ask you these really good questions, then you can get to the bottom of it. Then you can make another choice. But I guarantee you're not going to get to that alone because
No.
we just don't have, unless you have unless you really are that introspective with yourself, which most of us are not,
Hmm.
right? For ourselves. But it's easy for us to have a client and be able to pinpoint it in them.
Yeah.
You need to have that level of support so that you can ask, so that you can have those questions mirroring you and you can make a better choice. So once you see the truth about what you're really valuing when it comes to a decision, you can actually say, this is what I want instead. And this is what I want to value instead. And therefore I'm going to take those actions.
Yeah. That's so good. And you can get that support inside the VIP Diamond Club.
Oh, 100%, without a doubt. Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah.
You're going to get clarity. You're going to get clarity on your path because every single person gets an onboarding session and we look at your path
Yeah.
and the support and everything else. I think honestly, it's the best deal out there.
I think so
And
too.
I'm not talking just like investment wise. Like it is the best value I have ever seen by anyone else. So
When we were creating this club, this new membership, I was like, really? You're gonna do that? You're gonna include that? Like, wow, that's a lot. Like I've never seen it before, you know?
yeah, because I'm a generous person. I'm a very generous person, Anna. You know that.
Yeah.
And I
I had
believe
to kind of reel you in a little bit. Like, no.
that's true. That's true. I have this belief that the more generous you are in life, the more life is going to be generous with you. And I have to say that life's been really good to
Yeah,
me.
no, I agree. I agree with you for sure, for sure.
I don't hold back a lot, but I also have limit. Like I also have like those very important lines like this is what makes this this. This is what makes this that. And I do
Correct.
believe that people need to be invested in order
Hmm.
to get a result. It is the
Totally.
way it is.
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, so bring us home.
Yes. Let's do this. So, influence is about embodying your leadership. And that sounds really pretty and like a Hallmark card. But embodying your leadership has to do with what you're thinking about yourself and others daily. It has to do with you becoming fully aware of what it is, what roadmap you need in order to get to a certain destination. And it also has to do with your ability to know and surround yourself by the best.
And what
Surround
your heart is
yourself.
worshiping.
Sorry?
And what your heart is worshiping.
Yes. What is your heart worshiping? Meaning, what are the true values underneath everything? Are you making decisions from your ego because it sounds pretty, or are you making decisions from alignment in terms of your mind is aligned with your heart, is aligned with your gut, is aligned with your root chakra and your state, like that's where you should make decisions from. And
Mhm.
that doesn't that being in that place is not it's not that easy. And it's not something that goes on a postcard.
And it's
You
not a
know?
one-time thing either. It's not a one-time thing. That's
No.
why our membership is 1 year.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why, I mean, we have clients that have been in there for longer than a year.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have
for sure.
clients that have been there for longer than a year because you learn how to, it's like learning how to ride a bike.
Mm-hmm,
Alignment is like learning how to ride a bike.
mm-hmm.
Right? So you get your recipe, you get an alignment, meaning your recipe, your thing, your clarity about what's going to get you to your next level, right? Then you get into alignment, and then you get a result, and then you get your next recipe for the next step. Then you get into alignment, you get a result, and then you get another recipe. So it's a journey. It's a
Yeah,
journey where you are being supported and seen and guided every single step, so that you can become more aligned with yourself, with your leadership, with your crown. We talked about the crone archetype,
mm-hmm,
right? Which society's role is to disempower the most powerful in society, right?
mm-hmm.
Which are the crone. The crone, the woman who knows herself, the woman who is comfortable with herself, the woman who is in her power. That's dangerous. So
Dangerous to society.
that's what society has
And the
created.
things that they want us to believe.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
so it's like, oh, I can never age. I need to be stick figure. I need to, like, that's all bullshit.
yeah,
Right? So part of influence and the path in leadership is you recognizing who you are, honoring that, leading from that place, creating from that place, and surrounding yourself with others who are at that vibration and higher.
yeah.
That's the job of your lead of a leader. So
Funny.
with that said, thanks for being here with us today. Today is the last day to enroll inside of the Solidified VIP Diamond Club, where we're gonna hold you by the hand, help you build your digital queendom and step into a whole nother level of influence. So we're gonna put the link somewhere in here if you would like to
Yeah,
join us. There is still time until the end of the day. And for all of those who have already joined, we are so, so, so excited because tomorrow we are getting started with, or Wednesday, we're
yeah.
getting started with our very first sprint. And it's
Tomorrow has got a
every
circle.
4 weeks we
So
have a different sprint. Sorry, Anna?
tomorrow has got a circle.
Yeah, tomorrow's got a circle. And then Wednesday we start our sprint. So really excited about that. Thank you all for hanging out with us this past week. This has been so fun. I can just talk and talk and talk and talk.
Yes, yes, yes.
So in any case, for those of you who are ready to really step into that next level, then we are excited to have you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.